provide a little bit of context, by and large, I'm working on 3 songs in this video. 1 song with my friend Maggie and 2 songs with my friend Ken. So at the beginning, I'm working on this Maggie song, then 2 Ken songs, and then at the very end, kind of jumping back to that first song. They're all kind of in various stages of completion. Anyhow, just a little extra context. Okay. Day 1 of working on this new collab song with Maggie. She sent it as like an acoustic, like a video demo, but I'm hearing it as like a grunge song, and I want to chase this idea. Hopefully it's not too out there for her. Yeah, I think it'd be kind of cool. Alright, it's like 11 p.m., 10:48. Just finished editing the vlog and kind of compiling some images for, potential thumbnails and potential pictures to post on Instagram and all that stuff. That's also, just side note, has been a nice side effect or a byproduct of doing these videos is I end up getting some decent stills to be able to post and kind of, do all that stuff as well. Anyhow, now that I've finished that project of switching gears over to music, working on that song, Everything I Hated. We're kind of, I think, reaching a good point in the song, almost done with it. And I had Ken send me just like a bunch of him singing a certain vocal line. And I also had him ask AHKO, his wife, to also sing that same melody line. I'll probably sing some, just so that it sounds like huge. It sounds like there's a lot of people singing this, and I think that'll make the ending sound like big and epic. Working on what should be the last song of the EP, which is also simultaneously the first song of the EP. We had finished something, it was kind of like a pop-punk, pop-rock kind of thing, but doing another revision, I don't know what the right way to say it is, but the short of it is we're tearing the whole song down, and I don't think it's gonna basically have any resemblance to its original version. So after finishing the song that was tentatively titled Everything I Hated, Ken was really into the idea of like doing more Oasis-y type songs, and so he was like, hey, can we turn that first song into an Oasis song? After talking about it, I think it became clear that doing like adjustments or tweaks to the song was going to be a lot more work than literally just starting over. And so I'm going to get started on that tonight. I don't really have anything to work with here. Like there's no bass of it, and I thought it might be kind of fun to see if I can properly record this whole ideation process. I feel like I'm always kind of just catching little snippets here and there, but I'm gonna try, at least for this last one, to get as much of the process from 0 to 100 as I can. First things first, it's an Oasis type song. I've got to use the semi-hollow body. I feel like it's only right. For amps, my impression is it's either like a Vox AC30 or maybe like a Marshall 4x12, like a JCM, I don't know, like 8000 or something like that, or 800, I forget what the numbers are. But, kind of one of those, like, those big old amps. But I don't have either of those, as you can see here. So I'm going to use my amp simulator. I've got at least simulations of those, and we'll see if that works. The other thing I'm thinking I might try is maybe like a high watt. I feel like that's kind of like a British thing too. So I'm going to play around with those, and yeah, just go from there. I feel like it should be in this sort of like, this G shape, open chord shape position. But one thought I had is I feel like Ken, like his highest high note is somewhere around here. So maybe I should play it in the key of A. Put the capo down so that when he goes to like hit that high, like, kind of da 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 da, that it sort of naturally coincides, like when he hits the one, like the tonic root note, that maybe it'll be more satisfying if he can reach it with the, you know what I'm trying to say? Doesn't always work out, but could be worth trying out, or just, just play it in G and see what kind of melodies come from there. Haven't really thought that far ahead, but so far just kind of looking for like a good chord progression, good chord riff kind of thing that would work. I like this though. So I'm gonna start playing around with that. All right, it's been like 10-15 minutes, but I think I've kind of settled on something. So keeping that what I think will be the verse. And then I think for a pre-chorus, kind of hit like a sort of minor mood. And then maybe and 7. And then I think just like a 1-4-5 for the chorus. Back to the. I kind of also want to do like a. Oh, maybe that won't work though. Okay, so maybe that one. Maybe that'll be for a different song. But I think that lends itself to being kind of jangly. Sounds like maybe I'll get to bust out the 12-string for the song. Just maximum jangle. But yeah, I'm gonna lock this, or not lock this down, but like record what I think will be at least a sort of bass line to start with. Had to take a little shower because I was feeling gross. I was getting real sweaty. But now that I'm feeling a little fresher, before I wrap up the evening, I think I want to get some drum things down because I've got first pre-chorus, chorus. Haven't done an ending yet because Ken had mentioned he wanted like another kind of long outro, big ending that he could do like a lot of vocal layers and that kind of thing on. So I'm gonna save that for tomorrow, but just sort of getting like an underlying drum track going. I'm using Easy Drummer, and I'm pulling up this like the 70s kit thing. I'm using the cymbals and the snare from that, and then just using stock sounds for the kick and the toms. Just because I don't know, I wasn't really liking how those were sounding. It's just wasn't my preference, or at least not for this. Just kind of messing around with it. All right, day 2 of recording what was probably the last song of this EP. So I'm gonna go for the low-hanging fruit first. Yesterday I recorded a bunch of guitars with the the big yellow guitar. So today, just for some contrast, I'm gonna play through this one. Got a couple different settings that I think are compatible but different enough that the ears can kind of pick out that they're two different sounds, if that makes sense. And then played a lot of these kind of like open guitar shapes yesterday. So today I figured I'd go for like a more closed kind of like basically power chords. Maybe I don't think I'm gonna use the whole chord. Maybe just power chords. Again, just for like that little bit of contrast. It's like a little different, but it does go together, anyhow, so getting through that. I'm working on the arrangement for the ending of this song, and I know Ken had kind of explicitly requested some kind of extra section for like a multi-layered vocal thing happening. But as it is now, I'm actually not feeling like that would fit in this. I don't know, like maybe as we're going along and adding more stuff, that like I don't know, there'll be a place for that to make sense. But as of now, especially going with like that sort of Oasis theme, it feels like the back half, maybe I could do like a, very Noel Gallagher, pentatonic solo riffing thing for like 8 bars, and then like a pre-chorus chorus. And I'm thinking, because if I do that, could kind of solo over the verse chords, do the pre-chorus again, and kind of have like a build and maybe like a fake out last chorus. So maybe for the first 2 bars, just have it like acoustic guitars, and then have the band come in with like a ba ba, which I feel like I've taken from my friend Joey. He loves those kind of like big matchy hits, especially at like the end of a song or something like that. But that's just kind of what I'm feeling, in my heart right now. So I'm gonna do that. You've got to follow the ideas when they come, and like forcing things into place, I have not had good experience with that. So usually things seem to work better when there is a spark, there is an idea, and you kind of like chase that down, and then as you're doing that, the next idea unfolds, instead of kind of coming in with these preconceived notions of like, I want this and this and this. I feel like not that, not in like a religious or spiritual way, maybe in a little bit of a spiritual way, but like the creativity entities, beings, or like the songwriting gods or whatever, sort of punish you for like putting your ego into it, and like or like placing too much of your desires into this thing. And it's more of like serving the music, serving the song, and kind of coming at it from that attitude. So at least that's what I'm telling myself. Let me see if that works. I'm going to try to fill in the other parts. I don't know if you're hearing what I'm hearing yet. All right, so I'm going to get rid of the drums here for this first part. So it's just that like tiny amped, small sounding guitar. So all this is going to leave. Okay, so up to there. Get rid of these. And so... maybe like, snare floor tom, and then double crash with a kick, something like that. So let me put that there. Oh, is that right? Okay. Let's see. And then this and this. Get rid of these, maybe. No, maybe that goes one over. Let me rewind it. Hold on. Maybe like 2 kicks? Yeah. Aha. All right. There we go. And then just kind of following that with the guitars. And then let me add these guitars in. So, yeah, over here. Why do I have no volume? Where's my volume? Oh, yeah, that's why. All right, gonna add these. Is my camera thing in the way? There we go. I think I have figured out a way to have my cake and eat it too, in a sense, or maybe I've just been sort of, rewarded by the songwriting spirits for not imposing my will too much and just kind of like following the song's lead, because I think it could be nice to have actually just a fade out at the end of the song, so kind of have a double chorus or what have you, And then that way, in that fading out double chorus, you can kind of like stack a bunch of stuff and, do a whole bunch of, whatever you want. And at the same time, it does feel very 90s or very like early 2000s, which, fits in with the theme of the song. So I'm going to do that. That's what I have, set up for myself. And then the only other thing I think I'm going to do is just put in like a little placeholder guitar solo thing just to indicate like this is where I feel like a guitar solo would go. But otherwise, I think I'm going to, by and large, refrain from playing any like melodic parts. So like any lead guitar, any thing to sort of hint at a melody in the effort to not cloud Ken's sort of, not cloud his judgment, but in an effort to not influence what kind of melodies come out, I'm going to leave it blank. Yes. Hello, Aaron.
Oh, there's a really big bug.
Oh, okay.
Hi.
Oh, I can tell I'm rusty. It's not good. So I finished the first pass of that instrumental of the song that I'm doing with Ken and sent it to him last night, I think. So ball's in his court now. I don't have to really think about it for a little bit. And so now I'm kind of scooching on back towards the Maggie song that I was doing at the beginning. The song still needs a bridge, so I'm going to try to figure out like an instrumental for that. I have one idea for something that kind of like, brings the energy down before bringing the energy back up. And I'm going to also see if maybe tomorrow I can think of a different version where it's just kind of like the energy stays high and can, ride it out that way. But for now, the former. So I had to listen back to what I did yesterday, and I realized that I basically made the exact same song structure and like just the energy flow as the last song that I did together with Maggie, which is funny because, did that years ago and somehow I landed in the same place. Not like anyone really cares or like it's a big deal, but I feel weird about it now that I've noticed. And so I'm going to try something else. I'm going to go for just guitar solo that is the melody of the chorus. To me, that feels like a very grunge thing, or like maybe it's like a Nirvana specific thing, but it's what I thought, so I'm just gonna go with it.